The title of today's webinar is a little bit misleading. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. I'd like to introduce our panelists first. I'll just go through them fairly quickly. As always, we have Jim Viola, the president and CEO of HAI. Chris Hill may or may not make it. We kind of expect he won't. Actually, thanks to SMS and the airlines, he's in flight. He was supposed to be flying to Houston and would have been arriving by now. But they had an engine problem on his plane, and so happily they fixed the problem before they put it into the air. From our new SMS program providers, we have Bob Barufli, who is chairman of the Board of Governors for the Air Charter Safety Foundation. Bob is also the VP and Director of Flight Operations for Penstar Aviation. We have Jason Stark, who is Director of Standards for Baldwin Safety and Compliance. And as the Director for Baldwin, Jason is responsible for assuring compliance with the standards, best practices, and state regulations. Prior to this, he served as an operation manager for the International Business Aviation Council, IBAC. He joined IBAC from Universal Weather and Aviation, where he led efforts to develop an SMS solution. So he knows what he's talking about. And from Wyvern Limited, we have Sonny Bates. He's the CEO. Sonny began his aviation career in the U.S. Air Force, where he served in various key leadership roles. His experience in business aviation includes chief pilot, manager of safety, and captain on various types of business aircraft. He guided the development of the pilot training program for the Falcon S7X, working closely with leaders from Dassault, CAE, and regulatory agencies in Europe and the U.S. to deliver the program prior to aircraft certification. Our webinars are interactive. We are always interested in your questions. That's kind of why we'd like to even hold these webinars, is because we know that you need information. Please use the question module at the bottom of your screen for these questions. We do try to pay attention to the chat feature, but we give 100% focus to the question module. And so that's the best way to get your questions on the webinar. This recording is being, this webinar is being recorded. We will share the recordings with everybody, and we encourage you to share those recordings with others as well. Safety is something that needs to be literally around the world for aviation. And so you cannot share this enough. We challenge you. Go ahead and share it a little bit more. Now I'd like to introduce Jim Viola, who's our president and CEO, to come on and share his welcome with us. I'm going to be showing a video here of him in just a second too.
All right, thanks, Dan. Thanks for kicking this off, and I like the way you included live from Vegas, even though we're not collated. Dan and I and others from around the world, thanks for joining. We've got over 200 again today, and it's a very important topic, SMS. I did do a little clip that Dan is going to play here, so I'm going to let him do that so we don't have any other challenges as we did today. But we did have a plan B with Chris and Dan, and I do appreciate Sonny, Bob, and Jason today as they explain their program. And as I'll say, you'll see here in the clip, you know, members asked for it, we're going to give it to you, and we wanted to give you options as well. So that's why we paired with these three great companies for SMS. So over to you, Dan, and then on to these great presentators. So thank you very much.
Okay, I'm not going to bring my screen back up. Hopefully people can see the video screen there. And so let's go ahead and get started with this.
Hi, I'm Jim Viola, President and CEO of Helicopter Association International, and I have some great news for our operator members. Earlier this year, we conducted a survey of our operator members asking what they felt was the most important service we could offer to our members. The overwhelming top answer was a safety management system solution. You asked for it, and we are pleased to meet your request. We have partnered with three highly respected aviation safety companies to produce the HAI SMS program. Each of these companies are offering highly capable and scalable software solutions for safety management systems. I'm torn. There are two exciting elements that each make this a great deal, and I'm having a hard time deciding which is better. I'll tell you what, I'll let you decide. On one hand, these software solutions mean that you don't have to build your own program from the ground up. Our partners have made sure that their programs are ready for you to adopt to your specific situations, then just keep using the software to build and cultivate your safety culture. Don't get me wrong, you will still need to put in work, but creating and implementing an SMS program for your business just became as simple as 1, 2, 3. The other exciting part of this is the price. Our partners have reduced their fees to the point that it would be rude not to accept one of their proposals. Now, these programs are only open to HAI members and only for new subscribers to one of our 3 partners. What makes this a blockbuster event is that you will save so much money on one of these software solutions. Most companies will actually save the cost of their HAI membership. How can you not like a deal that gives you a turnkey SMS solution and helps your bottom line? I've saved the most important news for last: who we have for partners in this program. We evaluated 14 proposals for this program with the plan to pick just one. Instead, these 3 stood out in part because they have a solid reputation for their commitment to aviation safety and because we wanted you to have a choice that fits your specific requirements. In alphabetical order, these companies are the Air Charter Safety Foundation of Alexandria, Virginia, Baldwin Safety and Compliance of Hilton Head, South Carolina, and Wyvern Limited of Nashua, New Hampshire. We are so proud to work with these incredible organizations, and we are grateful that they wanted to partner with us to enhance safety for the rotorcraft industry. We know that you'll find a perfect fit with one of these companies, and we believe they just made it a lot easier to manage your safety programs. So where do you go for more information about these programs? Our website, shown on the screen, has all the information you need. We are pleased and excited to offer this new membership service to you. Our daily goal at HAI is to keep your rotors turning, and we think this is the perfect way to keep them turning safely. So, you asked and we answered. Now tell us more. I'd love your feedback about this program. Write to me at president@rotor.org and share your thoughts with me.
Okay, appreciate Jim's message there. There are a couple things I'd like to mention. One, Air Charter Safety Foundation is actually located in Washington, D.C. And secondly, the website for HAI's website for the new program, SMS program, we will have that link along with all the links to all the partners at the end of the webinar. So let me get my screen back up here in just a second and we'll proceed here. I'm working remotely today, so I don't have all my tools that I would normally have available. And there we go. As I started out saying today, the title of the program is a little bit misleading. The feature of this program on this webinar today will be the new SMS program, the HAI SMS program. However, we wanted to give information for those of you who are not members, who might want to try and work through some of their own methods. We do have some resources available. One of the things that people have asked about already in our in the emailed questions are templates, and we will address that at the start of the question and answer session. It's something that is available, but might not be the best solution overall. We do have courses available, 3 different ways that you can get courses on how to do an SMS program. First is the HAI Heli Expo Professional Education Courses, or PECs. We have an understanding and implementing an effective SMS program with Chris Young. That's a 2-day course. They're in March. And so that's a possibility. That one does have a fee with it. We also have 2 others during the Rotor Safety Challenge. Those occur during the actual Heli Expo. Professional education courses usually precede the expo. The first is Safety Management Systems for Small Fleet or Private Operators. Again, that's Chris Young, that's March 8th. And Safety Information Sharing, How it Impacts and Improves SMS Programs, and that's with Russell Lawton. You can also find a course online at the HAI Educational Academy, and that's at rotor.org/education. And that is the safety manager course it's an introductory course. And so that's one way that you might be able to find more information. Now let's talk about what is SMS. I'm going to be working from Chris Hill's notes. He is the program manager for HAI's SMS program, and he knows this inside and out. And so I'm going to be working off of his notes. Obviously, Chris is the better resource, and we wish he was here, but we will get this information to you. And so I'm going to start another poll question real quick, if I can. What we'd like to find out is why so many operators have not yet established a formal SMS program. And please just go ahead and give your information to us. And there's no right or wrong answer here. We're just trying to find out what people, why they might not have put one in to begin with. And we'll come back in just about 15 seconds and look at the results. And I realize at the bottom, we should have had one that says you already do have one. For those of you who are looking for more information, maybe improving your SMS program. Let's go ahead and wrap things up now. Looks like 11 of you said no management commitment. Looks like 25% has not been mandated by regulatory authority yet. 14% or 14 people said that it was too costly, and 10% says decision makers do not recognize return on investment. All of those are obviously valid reasons. We hope that our new SMS program for small operators will help solve some of those issues. SMS is coming. We know that the FAA is looking at it. We know that the DNT has been evaluating and recommending this for quite some time. And so if it's not here now, it's going to be probably on track for most operators into the future. Chris says, like a runaway train barreling down the track to destroy you with overly burdensome and expensive requirements. No, not really. Our panel here today is to help dispel this and many other myths and misconceptions, dial down the rhetoric, offer some helpful tips, and possibly some solutions to the operators who consider as they seek ways to improve how you manage risk in your daily operations. Chris had a really intriguing quote. "We can't control the emergence of threats, but we can make our organizations less vulnerable." Those of us in the rotorcraft industry know that accidents happen. We don't like to discuss it, but accidents happen. And so what can we do to make ourselves less vulnerable? What can we do to reduce the risk that we have an accident, that maybe it's the other operator that has the accident instead? And so obviously General Stanley McChrystal really had a good idea with what he was talking about here. And it certainly applies to our SMS program. Polling question number 3, let's bring up another one. What is the purpose of an SMS? Let's see. You'll see the thought cloud here. There's, again, what we think is the right answer, but let's see what everybody thinks here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop it because it looks like the answer is pretty overwhelming for all of the above. And we do believe that, well, let's go through the list. To help manage risk is certainly a purpose. To prevent accidents and incidents is certainly a purpose. And to facilitate effective risk-based decision-making is absolutely a purpose. So very definitely the answer is all of the above. And it looks like almost 90% of you chose that answer. And so it does sound like most of you recognize the value in having an SMS program. What is the HAI SMS program? As Jim mentioned, we had 14 proposals submitted to us. We had issued an RFP through Rotordale and some e-blasts asking for contributions to create a software-based solution for small operators. And so we got some great responses. And our goal in doing this was a service that enables unprecedented access to premier SMS software tools and support services that can help you comprehensively manage aviation safety risk. And so what we ended up with is a partnership between HAI and industry safety experts focused on helping operators of any size improve safety, efficiency, and effectiveness in their operations. And again, we had 14 proposals. From what I'm told, the evaluators looked at everyone, and every one of the 14 would have been a good solution for us. We chose the 3 partners that we did because of their industry reputation, excuse me. We know that these 3 partners are great, not that the others weren't, but we wanted to offer the cream of the crop. And HAI member operators who enroll here will get significant savings in both time and money. We know that the smaller operators don't necessarily have the time to implement something. This is a program that's going to be significantly better than a template or trying to copy somebody else's SMS program. And one of the coolest things that I think it is the amount that you can save on these programs actually could exceed the amount of money you would normally spend on an HAI membership. So if you're not an HAI member, you've been thinking about it, or you've been previously a member, this might be something you want to consider. You can actually end up saving enough money to pay for the membership and have a world-class SMS software tool and solution. So why did we establish it? Honestly, because our members asked for it. And that tells me something. We know that SMS is not always sexy. It's perceived to be tough. It's perceived to be expensive. And so you ask us for help with that. And so we delivered. The vast majority, I want to say it was up around 90% of the poll respondents said that they wanted help with SMS and safety related projects or safety related solutions. You asked, we delivered, here we are today. We are pleased to announce this HAI SMS program. What we're trying to do is our SMS provider network seeks to elevate safety in the rotorcraft industry beyond where it's ever gone before. Together, we found ways to waive some, if not all, of the setup fees and offer substantially discounted subscription fees for small operators. Medium and large operators, we haven't forgotten about you. You'll also enjoy significant discounts. We won't get into the details of the fees today because it would be not necessarily fair to our providers, but if you're interested, we will give you all the details to find out more. I'd now like to offer each of our providers to give you a brief summary of who they are and the services that are going to provide. Once each of the 3 companies are finished, we will dive right back into a general discussion and answer all your questions you've got about how any size operator can navigate the challenges of SMS implementation. We'll focus more on the tips to help you start, continue, and refine your SMS journey, regardless of who you choose. If you would like to help, like more of our help after this webinar, we trust that you'll let us know. And so I'm going to stop sharing, and I would like to invite, who do we have up front? Bob Ruffley of the Air Charter Safety Foundation. Bob, welcome to our webinar today. If you can turn your mic on. There we go. I'm going to duck out of the way and let you make your presentation.
All right, real good. Well, let me just share my screen and we'll get started. So you should be seeing my full screen presentation now.
I do not see it, Bob.
Oh, wait, I got one more button to click. There we go.
There we go. You're up.
Okay, great. Well, first of all, I want to thank HAI and Dan and everyone for giving us the opportunity to speak to you a little bit today about SMS. I'll first tell you a little bit about ACSF. We are a nonprofit organization, And our real mission is just simply to make an impact in our industry, in the aviation world. And we're doing that by offering various programs, some guidance, and what you'll see a little bit today about, or I'm going to talk mostly about, is our data-driven tools. The programs and guidance that we offer are, industry audit standards. We set some industry audit standards many years ago. We keep those up to date. They're currently meet as much as Annex 19 and many of the other government requirements out there. We also are beginning in the early stages on working on flight data monitoring management programs. And our programs are really, we're just there to help you. We just give you some guidance. The other one that is probably our largest program that we do right now is our Aviation Safety Action Program, or ASAP program. For those of you that aren't familiar, it's an FAA sponsored program that basically allows pilots to make reports of issues that have happened in the system. And as you will hear today, SMS and ASAP are really just designed to improve our system. It's really that simple. Find problems wherever they are, whether it's in your operation, whether it's in the ATC system, wherever that problem is, we want to identify it and improve it. And I shouldn't even say problem. Sometimes it's just confusion or various things. And then we're working on mentoring. Our membership is there to reach out and help others as you grow into this program. So the data-driven tools that we'll be talking about today are really kind of what we would call basic tools, but they are highly customizable. And that's one of the things you're going to hear me talk about a lot today, is how, this SMS needs to be your SMS. You need to make this program fit your organization. One of the things that we learned and our members told us was the early adopters was, SMS really came from the 121 world, and they operate pretty much the same. And general aviation just doesn't do that. We're so diverse of companies and operational types. Helicopters is a great example of that. You guys do all kinds of different things, even probably more than us fixed wing operators do. So, the ability to customize became very important to us. And then we really took on an attitude of, how do we keep it simple? We've got to keep it simple so that you get participation. I mean, you need your pilots and your employees to participate. And if it's not simple, it's just challenging for them. And we found that they just don't participate a lot. So this is a comment that we also at ACSF took pretty much to heart. Robert Sumwalt, former NTSB chairman, basically said, it's not that you have an SMS, it's really about, what do you do with an SMS? We can all have one. We can put the procedures together. We can have the software, but if you're not doing anything with it, it's really not making an impact. So we at ACSF really took that to heart and said, we need to help the industry understand that thing. So when we developed these data-driven tools, we took on some basic criteria we felt that was important for our industry. Low cost, as was discussed, customization. Again, I can't really express how much we put effort into customizing and keeping it simple. Those two aspects to us were very important. But then in today's world, you've got to have, the data's got to be secure. It's got to be mobile capable. And again, we really feel that the aggregate data concept is really something. I mean, we're all understanding that data can tell us a lot of information, and we can improve our systems through data analysis. So aggregate data was an important aspect when we developed these tools. The tools themselves that we have available to you, you don't have to use them all. Some of them are there just to give you guidance and help. But, our basic SMS tool, we got a flight risk assessment, internal audits, perception surveys. Surveying, we do feel is an important aspect. Now, in small operators, it's probably not as important. but understanding your culture and understanding what your employees perceive is extremely important. And you do that through surveys. So we have a survey tool. And then we have a couple of evaluation tools that were actually produced by a safety management industry collaboration group, which is a worldwide group that got together. It's a lot of government entities that put together some guidance on how to evaluate your culture and how to evaluate your SMS program to really begin to understand it. So those are just tools to help you understand it and build your program out. Fatigue reporting is something that is important, obviously, in safety. So we have the ability to create a fatigue report for you. And then, as I mentioned, audit standards, we have a pretty simple emergency response program tool. And then something as easy as facilities maintenance. Again, our tools are pretty flexible and customizable. And we had one operator that came to us and said, we really love the reporting platform. We'd like our employees to go there to tell us when, the hangar door is jamming and those kind of things. So it's what you'll learn, and you'll hear again today, is SMS is not always about safety. It's about a process to improve things and gain awareness and make a change. So that's really important in what you'll find in your SMS. So again, in our tools, we really focus on the customization piece. We customize these tools for each company, for various users within the company, or even individual users. We have the option for what we call a power user, and a basic user. A basic user is somebody that just wants to get in there, do the process, and be done with it. The power user is somebody that once you have some data, we talk about that aggregate data, you want to be able to, what we like to term, data mine, or actually go into the data and start looking at it and just exploring data. That's where you learn a lot of times. So that's really what's called a power user. But one of the things that we feel is really helpful in creating a better user experience is our tools are unique customizations right down to the taxonomy. If you like calling it an N number and somebody else likes calling it a tail number or a registration number, we can easily change those, the taxonomy or the naming of those fields for you individually, and other companies will have what they want. And the data all aggregates together, so it's really not that big a deal. So we feel that that's going to help. Now, that being said, one of the challenges is that when you sit down with us to put your tool together and put these tools together, it does require some time, and it takes some time, but we're here to help. There's no time limit. We're not going to say you got to get this done in 30 days, whatever. We'll work with you on your pace to really customize your tool and make it a valuable tool for you. Simplicity and security is, of course, as we mentioned, one of our, again, keeping it simple. We have the ability for no logins or passwords for the people filing the reports. So it literally on there, we'll teach you how to load it onto your home screen on your iPhone. And it's literally 2 clicks and you're filling out a form, unless it's ASAP. As I mentioned, ASAP, you'll learn a little bit more if you want about ASAP. It's supposed to be another A in there, but the ASAP program is a, it's what do I want to say? SMS is anonymous. ASAP is confidential. So you still need to know who the employee is, but it's held confidentially by the management group, by ACSF. And so the FAA and the people involved in looking at the issue are not aware of who and what it was. That's all part of the requirements the FAA puts on an ASAP program, but I won't get into that too much today. But then, of course, security is all provided through your safety team, and people that have access will certainly have complex passwords and logins. So the SMS tool itself meets all of the requirements that the FAA has with it actually is capable of doing multiple departments. If you're a company that has a maintenance facility, you can still use it for your maintenance department and segregate that data appropriately. It does risk assessments, root causes, all the typical things that would be in a good safety management program. Your risk profiles and your performance targets. So again, it's a basic tool that just helps you track some of those things. And that's really all I have for today. I'm more than happy to talk to anyone later and go into more detail as to what our tools really can do for you and how that might work. So again, I really appreciate it, and I'll turn it back to you, Dan.
Thanks, Bob. That was really informative. I had become aware of your program, just learned a whole lot more about it. So really appreciate the presentation and look forward to having you join us for the Q&A coming up shortly. Can we have Jason Stark now join us, please?
Absolutely. How do you hear me?
Got you, Jason. Sounds like you might be at a trade show somewhere.
I do happen to be at a trade show. I'm on the Florida base. Hopefully found a quiet spot. Really, really thrilled to be here with you guys. I just want to say on behalf of Don and Nancy and the entire Baldwin team, we are so honored to be a part of this program and supporting what HAI is doing and bringing safety management to the rotorcraft industry. Before I get started, I would like to show a short video, just kind of unpacking some of the concepts about safety management in kind of a short video-ish type of setting. And then I'd like to have a little chat with you after the video, if that's okay, just to kind of hone in on some points about safety management and Baldwin's participation within the SMS program that HAI has brought out. So my assistant, the wonderful Lynn, I think she is going to bring up a video and we're going to show that.
Lynn, we might need to have you restart. I'm not getting any audio. We might have to have you stop sharing and back out so you can click that little button. Sorry, everybody. We love getting things right, but sometimes technology wants to fight with us. So we'll be back on with you here in just a second.
Or how a company can operate. There's a lot of talk that SMS seems like a wet blanket, that it weighs down the operation and actually limits what an operator can do or how a company can operate. In other words, there seems to be a perception that a safety management system is a hindrance to a company, a necessary inconvenience that must be implemented and maintained for the sake of regulators, insurance providers, or industry standard requirements. Common concerns regarding the safety management system include: the safety management system costs money, but gives nothing back to the organization. The safety management system costs other resources, such as time and personnel, with no real tangible benefit to the organization. The safety management system only tells us what we can't do, which causes us to limit our business. In other words, the safety management system is perceived as a real downer that may work for the airlines, but doesn't belong in business and general aviation. But in reality, this couldn't be further from the truth. The safety management system is a vibrant, living system that is meant to enlighten an organization and provide it the information to make smart decisions regarding risk. The safety management system is not designed to restrict, but rather enable. It allows the company to gain control over the threats in its operating environment and determine if the risk associated with these threats is acceptable or even tolerable, depending on the benefits gained from conducting the operation. It allows the company the opportunity to deal with risk head-on and determine how to lessen the risk. Furthermore, the safety management system provides the company with the tools to determine if the appropriate defenses are in place and working properly. You see, the safety management system is anything but dull and restricting. The safety management system is not a convoluted set of policies, processes, and procedures, but rather is simply a way, a way to make the organization smarter and more informed on the operational decisions it makes. The structure of the safety management system is designed so that companies, large and small, can implement it. There needs to be guidelines regarding how safety will be managed in the organization, who does what in support of the SMS, and what resources will need to be committed to make this thing work. Also, a method needs to be determined regarding how the things in our operating environment that can hurt us can be identified, and then be able to define how scary those things are. Furthermore, there needs to be guidance, depending on how scary these things are, on how to make these things less scary in operations. We also need to have a way to determine what to look at to determine if what we are doing to make the operating environment is actually working, and if not, how we can fix them. Add to this, we need to determine how we can continuously improve upon the safety in our operations and the effectiveness of the safety management system. Finally, if and when things change, and they will, how can we make the change smartly without bringing more problems into the organization? Finally, we need to get all our folks on board with the safety management system and get them engaged by training them on how the thing works and how they can participate. We also need to have a way to let our folks know about all the great things we have learned from the information coming into the SMS and all the great things the SMS has done for our organization. And that's it. Large, complex organizations may need an array of different tools to support the SMS structure, while smaller, non-complex organizations only may need a few. So the SMS is not a wet blanket that takes the fun out of operations, but rather a robust way to operate smartly. Implement the system that works for you, not against you, and enjoy the journey. Let our safety experts craft an SMS QMS experience to protect your assets.
And then thank you for showing that. And what we wanted to do there is just give you in a nutshell what safety management is about and what the structure is. But admittedly, and I was one of them, when we heard about safety management coming, especially in rotary. Sorry, I had a little glitch there, but especially in rotary wing operations, we think, can we really deal with this? Is this something that's just gonna go away? Can we just maybe ignore it? Is it just another fad? But to say, because of the effectiveness and because of the success of safety management and other segments of industry, it's not going away, and it doesn't need to go away. And we can see how industry and how regulators are starting to call for this, because it is important and it is something that can really change and enlighten your operations. As Dan said at the beginning of the webinar, we talked about the NTSB, the top 10. And one of the top 10 for the NTSB is that these organizations that actually not the organization, but that the FAA require and verify the effectiveness of safety management systems in all revenue passenger carrying aviation operations, not just fixed wing, not just scheduled airlines, but all revenue carrying passenger carrying operations. They go on further to say, and this is the NTSB talking, that safety management systems can improve safety. And if they are required by the FAA, if our regulator will require them, they will provide an effective means of ensuring a culture of safety in our organizations. The NTSB also goes further to really encourage operators not to wait. Don't wait for the FAA. Get on board with this, because if we wait for the regulator, then we're going to be behind the curve and we're going to miss out early on the benefits that a safety management system can bring to our organizations. So without regulator guidance, we have to turn to industry and industry standards. One of the examples is the ISBEO. And the ISBEO is the foundation for HAI's audit performance standard suite. But the ISBEO, the chapter 3, entire chapter dedicated to implementing a safety management system, which has to be part of your certification in the HAI APS. If you're on the aeromedical side, PAIMS section 2 deals with safety management system, because they also see the importance of this proactive stance in saying what could go wrong and how can our organization own it and how can they control it. And as many of you know, that when you're going for the contracts with the U.S. Forest Service, they'd also require proof of an implemented safety management system, and that you're doing something. And Robert Sumwalt couldn't have said it better, that you're also doing something with your safety management system. So we're seeing that overall, the SMS requirements are becoming more prolific. They're becoming more ubiquitous in our industry. And as you all probably know, in the United States today, Only the airlines are regulated right now. They're the only ones that are being told by our FAA to say, you need to have a safety management system. But that's because we are at difference to what ICAO is saying. When we look at what the International Civil Aviation Organization is saying, this is the standards body for aviation on a global scale. They recognize the importance of safety management, so much so that they've actually created a separate annex. The latest annex of 19 annexes, it is Annex 19, and they are telling the countries, which are a signature to the Chicago Convention, which the United States has won, but they are telling the United States that the government needs to regulate safety management systems for all commercial fixed and rotary wing operations. Right now, we are just on scheduled airlines. So as our FAA starts catching up to what ICAO and what the NTSB are saying, right now, our industry, we are lacking the regulatory guidance. That's why we need to do this on our own. We need to have the impetus to say, we're going to do this because we understand the benefits of safety management system and because it makes complete sense within the organization. But as the video said, it seems like the safety management system is like this thing that's external to the organization that is just, it's so technical, and maybe because it has system in the title, but it couldn't have been said better by Dave Pruitt, who is a mentor of mine. But SMS is just only a way. It's a way for your organization to identify risk in the organization and ultimately control that risk. It's a way just to make operations safer. It's a formalized way so that it can be repeated, but it is just a way. And interestingly enough, as the SMS standards, as they're written by the International Civil Aviation Organization or by ISBAO or by CAMES or any one of those other standards body, these standards are performance-based, meaning that yes, there are SMS requirements and they are documented requirements, but they're performance-based, meaning that they're just looking at the output. They're just looking at what you're getting at. How you get there is up to the organization. And that's where the scalability comes in. If you are a small organization, non-complex organization, you don't need to have complex tools. You don't need to have these processes that you would never use in order to address problems of risk. In fact, ICAO said it best when they talked about the scalability. They said non-complex organizations can develop non-complex solutions to deal with complex problems. And I thought that was one of the most profound things ever said by ICAO. It is saying that, yes, if you are a two-man operation, you can develop the appropriate procedures that you will interface with, the appropriate processes that you will actually execute upon to deal with the complexities of your operating environment. So when we talk about the model, when we talk about the framework of safety management system, it is just a guide to help organizations develop and implement the appropriate tools. It is to help guide you in determining what is it that I need to satisfy this requirement in order to control risk in my organization. So it is all encompassing, because it is, whether you are a 1 ship or a 100 ship company, these standards are applicable because it's how you meet the standards. It is what you are doing that best serves your organization in controlling risk. Now, as we are here, there are great providers here providing software, and the question always comes up: do I need a software solution to implement and maintain an SMS? And I think this was really well put by HAI. They have a Q&A on their SMS program, and maybe many of you have read it. But no, you do not need a safety management system platform or software tool in order to do safety management in your organization. If you're using a combination of forms, spreadsheets, whatever it is, and it's working for you, and it is scaled to your organization, and it's getting the job done, and it's showing exactly what you need to control risk in your organization, great. You don't need to change it. You don't need to change it. You don't need a software system, and you can effectively manage it the way you are doing in the current case. But how can software help? How can software help you, especially if you're starting from the ground, if you're starting from point zero and trying to implement SMS? Well, the software itself, if you use a good software tool, like what you have in our providers here that we're all offering, is that it can increase the efficiency of the system. It increases efficiency through automation, through centralized collaboration, through centralized data storage analysis, and enhanced information dissemination. So in other words, the safety management software, because it is purpose-built, can help the company do a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of SMS stuff, if you will, very effectively, accurately, and expeditiously. So a good software program, though, when you're making your decisions about a software program, whether it be one of the three that HAI is vetting, which we're encouraging, that's part of the HAI SMS program, or you're looking elsewhere, but I encourage you to stay within the HAI SMS program. But a good software program will have functionality that helps the organization to address all the requirements of safety management system. So a software solution that's only a flight risk assessment tool is not addressing the entire safety management system. A software that only addresses reporting or employee reporting is not the entire safety management system. You want an all-encompassing solution, because that by addressing the framework, through the software addressing the framework, the software can also serve as a learning tool in helping the company understand what needs to be done to effectively manage risk. So now that software almost becomes a guide for you in order to structure your safety management system. Also, as we have heard here, especially from the ACSF, and I'm sure we'll hear from Wyvern as well, but a software solution that is configurable or customizable, because there is nothing more irritating than having to adjust your organization for a software solution. It should be the other way around. You should adjust the software solution. You should make it as complex or non-complex as you need in order to effectively manage risk in your organization. So your software solution, whichever one you choose, needs to be configurable and customizable so that it suits you and not the other way around. Your software solution should also offer for an intuitive interface, and that's important. And I think Bob hit it really well. When you make things easy, when you have dashboards, when you have click buttons, kind of what you're seeing here, you have a tendency to get more engagement. If somebody's going to come up to a software solution and they have to go through a million steps to submit a report, or it takes a long time, or it's convoluted, or they don't understand it, they're not going to interface with it. And what's going to happen is you're going to get a lack of engagement from the front line. And that, guys, that's what I tell you, that is where the heartbeat is. That is where the good stuff is your front line. And you want the front line, you want the pilots, you want the maintainers, you want the operators to be submitting that information. And if it's not easy, if it's not accessible, if it's not intuitive, then you are going to lose them, and you're going to lose the data. You're going to lose the information that you need to make those important decisions. Importantly, going back to Robert Sumwell's quote, your safety, your software solution, your safety management system solution also has to allow for meaningful output. It has to be able to show you what's going on within your safety management system, and ultimately what's going on within your operations in terms of risk. It has to be able to provide you that output, because it's through that output that you guys are going to make the decisions and how to operate safely within your environment. So as I start wrapping up here, I'm going to talk about really quickly why Baldwin. And as I said, well, Baldwin is extremely honored to be here. We have a heart for this. We have a heart for bringing safety management to all kinds of organizations, because we know the benefits of a well-run safety management system. Whether we have two-person organizations, and we have up to 6,000-person organizations. We run that entire gamut, and we have seen the fails and the successes of safety management in all those organizations. And we just love to be a part of that. We feel that this outreach, especially through HAI, is the utmost importance, and we cannot stress how important safety management is. And we know that it's going to be required. We know that people are telling us to do it, but to do it for ourselves is a really good idea, and we really want to be a part of that. And especially for those smaller organizations that feel that they don't have the resources, that they don't feel this is going to be any benefit to them. We love those organizations because we want to show them. We want to show you the benefits and how to do this and how to manage risk effectively within the organization. Baldwin has been doing this since 2004. So we do have a well-established reputation within the industry. And like I said, we have clients in all aviation segments and even non-aviation segments. But we do have rotary wing. We have rotary wing air ambulance clients. We have tour operator clients. We have executive transport clients. We have utility clients. We cover a lot of the different segments, if you will, in the rotary wing world. So we are privileged to see how SMS has succeeded in these different segments across the rotary wing operations. So as I also said, all the selected providers here, they're all great providers, and they all offer a solution that has been proven to be effective. And this has been vetted by HAI. And these solutions have been proven effective in implementing and maintaining an effective SMS. We really pride ourselves, I should say, on offering a software solution that is highly customizable so that you can make the solution that works for you. and it's scalable, so it can address the complexity within your organization through non-complex solutions. Baldwin also offers an intuitive interface to help sustain frontline engagement. We know how important that is to get people involved, to get people engaged. As I said earlier, if it's not intuitive, they're not going to engage. And we are very careful in ensuring that people have a really good user experience every time they interface with our software. And I think one of the most important things about Baldwin is not only do we pride ourselves in having a great software piece, but we pride ourselves in being a peopleware company. We have a highly experienced individuals that are dedicated individuals, that are credentialed individuals. They are experts in safety management, and they are available 24/7, 365. As part of the solution, we not only get on the phone with you any time of the day or a webinar just like this and talk to you how to use the tool, but we also work with our organizations extensively to configure the tool so that it meets their needs, and then also teach them about how to use these tools in the context of safety management within the organization. So we are very passionate that people truly understand why they're doing this and the benefit that they're seeing from this. So in summary, as I said, like as I'm wrapping up here, I know implementing safety management can seem like a daunting task, especially in the initial stages. A good software program will help to support this effort. A good software program will have the components and elements necessary to control risk within the organization, upon which you, the organization, can structure your own. You can configure your own processes and procedures that work for you in controlling risk. A good provider will also provide the peopleware to walk this journey with you. And that's what we want to do here at Baldwin. Consider letting us be your partner to success. Consider letting us to walk this journey with you. And if you are interested, contact us, let us know. We'd love to provide a demonstration of all we have to offer so that you can take that next step, so you can take that journey, and so that we can do this together. So again, I want to thank you. If you are interested in this presentation, it will be available in the chat as a PDF link. We see a sign here that you can enter a drawing. We love socks here at Baldwin for whatever reason. I guess we're quirky that way, but you can enter to win anywhere from $1,000 credit on safety training, which we also offer, all the way down to Baldwin socks. But that helicopter belt, I modeled for you now, but that might be embarrassing. But with that, I'd like to wrap it up. And again, I'm here for questions and answers during that period. And thank you again for this privilege of being here.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, let's not have you lose your pants on the middle of a show floor. Now I'd like to have Sonny Bates join us from Wyvern, please. Wyvern Limited. There we are.
Thanks,
Sonny.
Dan. Yep. Thank you, Dan.
Welcome. I'll get out of your way and let you make your presentation.
Hey, before you go, Dan, how much time do we have on this show? I just want to make sure.
We'll probably end up. We had initially talked about an hour, but I know we also talked about 90 minutes. So take the time you need, Sonny, and we'll get into the questions after that.
Okay, I was just a little concerned because if I had 6 minutes, there's no way I was going to stuff all this in, just like the
take the time you need there, Sonny.
All right. Well, thank you, Dan, and thank you, Jim, Chris, and the HAI team. Really appreciate it. I won't be so long in our presentation. So if you're viewing in right now and you're concerned that, oh my God, how long is this thing going to last? Don't worry, we'll keep it short. I have a short video to show you. It's about 5 minutes, and it'll cover the essentials of our safety management system and our software. And I would just like to tell you a little bit about Wyvern. Wyvern, we're the first business aviation audit company in the whole world. We started in 1991. And, you know, you've heard already today a lot of push on SMS, of course, but that's what we're here to talk about, but a lot about software. And as Jason indicated, you know, software is one way to go about this, and that's why we're here to talk about it. We have these 3 different opportunities for you to consider. But I think the thing that differentiates maybe the Wyvern company from the other opportunities you'll hear is the human aspect. You know, we offer our SMS software package, but the thing that we promise you, and it's a promise to anybody that whether they're a client or not, if you contact us at 1-800-WINGMAN, someone will answer the phone, regardless of what time of day it is, and we'll help you, and it doesn't cost you anything. So, but keep that. That's news you can use. If you want help with SMS and you need to reach out to somebody that's been doing this since 1991, then call us and we will actually help you. We won't say, okay, we have some questions. Now you're on the clock. We're going to send you a bill. That's never going to happen. So with that in mind, what I'd like to do is show you the video. And so I'm going to share my screen here and also share the sound. Go there. We'll go here. And Dan, I hope that works. I hope you can see it.
Loud and clear.
The Wyvern Quality and Safety Management System, QSMS, is a fully scoped SMS application, fulfilling your needs for ICAO and FAA compliance. QSMS is divided into two distinctly unique program interfaces. A mobile-friendly, intuitive and simple user portal provides for easy access to reporting, FRAT, and other functionality for your employee group. This uncluttered interface provides an unintimidating and easy-to-use experience. The administrative site is rich with unique tools allowing your safety administrator to carry out the more complex requirements of operating a successful SMS. This separation of user functionality reduces barriers to participation by keeping the complicated functional aspects of SMS strictly in the line of sight of the administrative users who need them. This diagram depicts the unique design of QSMS. Risk, detected in any of the functional program modules that comprise the system, is directed into the Risk Management Module, or RMM, where robust tools and functionality exist to assist the safety administrator in the analysis, assessment, remediation, and follow-up to the submissions emanating from all other functional modules. This practice eliminates the data silos that are frequently created in traditional SMS applications. The output from the Risk Management Module returns to the system in the form of safeguards against risk, and improvements to policies, processes, and procedures. Let's take a look at some of the robust program modules that comprise Wyvern's QSMS. Human reporting, a cornerstone of every effective SMS, is provided in a customizable, yet easy-to-use and mobile-friendly form. The system fully supports anonymous and confidential reporting. Keeping reporting simple reduces barriers to participation when providing an important observation is as easy as filling in a few blanks, snapping a picture, and pushing submit. These submissions immediately make their way into RMM for handling by your safety administrator. Pre-operational risk analyses provide for detection and mitigation of risk before it has a chance to become unwanted consequences. Unlimited templates can be created to support any aspect of your operation you wish, from flight to maintenance to dispatch and more. Specific FRATs can be ported into RMM for deeper analysis as the need arises. The ASAP module provides a discrete functional area for ERC participants in which to analyze, mitigate, and follow up on ASAP submissions. The module's functionality deliberately follows the ASAP program flow chart, translating the chart's elements into simple point-and-click simplicity. The feature supports any non-organization users who might be a part of your ERC, from FAA representatives to ACSF facilitators. A richly featured management of change module invites collaboration from all corners of your organization in the consideration of large changes. Users can create entries reflecting specific considerations, pitfalls, and risk perceived to be associated with the change. Specific entries can be ported into RMM for deeper analysis and remediation. Unlimited safety performance indicators can be created and tracked in the SPI module. Many SPIs can be automated, with metadata automatically tracking occurrences through metadata captured in FRAT, use of the Risk Management Module, and other features. Easy-to-comprehend summary reports can be output to PDF for simple dissemination. QSMS contains a robust auditing module. Unlimited audit templates can be created to support internal IEP or external vendor audits. The audit feature is optimized for use on mobile platforms, making on-site audits fast and easy. Findings can be ported into RMM for deeper analysis and remediation. Wherever risk presents itself, it is handled effectively by your safety administrator in the Risk Management Module. RMM at the heart of the system provides powerful tools for the analysis, assessment, mitigation, and follow up for submissions from all SMS components, not just human reporting. The risk visualization tool provides a canvas to easily reconstruct a chain of events, allowing for easy identification of root cause as well as ample opportunity to ask what if, leading to discovery of otherwise overlooked close calls.
Okay, so that was our little video. Now I know if you're watching that, and I was watching the numbers of the participants, so just hang with us here just for a little bit more. I know we're going a little bit over an hour, but you see all this complexity inside of an SMS that's mature, that's sophisticated. When you're just getting into an SMS, so that's who the audience is here. You're just getting into the SMS. You're wondering, how do you do it? That sophistication is behind the scenes. It's not in your face. We keep things simple, you know, so when you're just starting out with the SMS, you're going to see exactly just what you need. If you want a flight risk assessment tool, that's what you'll see. And that's all you'll see. If you always have this way to easily report a safety issue. Those are two of the more fundamental things that people see when they're first starting in the SMS. But as Bob said earlier, Bob Ruffley, you know, he said SMS is not just about safety. That is so true. The SMS really, when you look at it, is a management system with a focus on safety. Because it's a management system, you could actually use this same system for managing security risk. You could use it for environmental risk, occupational health and safety risks, and quality risks. So it's a beautiful machine if you look at it like that, where it's universal in nature. We just happen to be using it for safety in this discussion, but it could bring so much benefit to your organization over time to elevate the professionalism of your organization in the different dimensions of managing risk. So the message here is, you know, if you decide to get into SMS software, probably with any of these offerings, you're going to only see what you need to see. The complexity is not going to overwhelm you. At Wyvern, our promise is people will help you as much help as you need. And our probably the other offerings will say the same thing, but I can only speak for our company. It will never cost you anything to call us. It will never cost you anything for us to roll up our sleeves and work with you. We love doing that. It's what we do. So we have Rotor clients all around the world, from clients with hundreds of aircraft, from clients with just 1 or 2 aircraft. So we understand how the smaller operator needs a scalable system that fits just right. Using the same software platform, we make the offering present itself in a more simplistic way, where the hundreds of aircraft under an umbrella, for that operation, they need a bit more sophisticated dashboard. So this same system, you know, is able to adapt and morph to your needs like that. So I think to wrap it up, before we get into questions and answers, the discussion today is about professionalism. We're not going to wait for the FAA to mandate SMS on us. That's not why we're here. The mandate's not here. We don't know exactly when it's going to be. It's coming though. But we're not here for that. We're here to say professionalism in aviation really requires us to manage risk in a way that's methodical, in a way that can be repeated. We're talking about quality with a safety focus. So that's what the system provides. With the human element at Wyvern, you know, just before I hand over the microphone to Dan, you know, Wyvern, we're a C corporation. Only 5% of the companies in the United States are a C corporation. That gives us the structure and the capability for longevity and sustainability well into the future. I think we have the best team on the planet. Like I said, you call 1-800-WINGMAN, somebody's going to answer the phone. And we're ISO 9001 certified. And, you know, we conform to the ISO 27001 data protection standards. So, you know, I think with any of the selections, you know, like Dan said, there were 14 competitors. They've narrowed it down to 3. We all have probably the bells and whistles you're looking for. You'll probably, if you decide on one of us, we'll probably pick the company that wants to help you the most and is probably more engaged with you and have the people that are willing to answer your questions and help you along without nickel and diming you to death or making you feel like this is too complex. So we take pride in making all this sophistication simple. So Dan, with that, I'm going to hand it back to you.
Okay, Sonny, let me bring my camera up. I invite Bob and Jason to go ahead and bring your cameras back up too, and let's get started with Q&A. To our attendees, we are going to run a little bit late tonight. I know we had talked about both the 60-minute and 90-minute in different places, so it got a little confusing. Hope you'll bear with us. We'll probably go fairly close to 90 minutes. Let's start with one general question that I brought up earlier about the templates, because that was a mail-in question. Let's start with Bob, and I'd like each of you to answer this. What are the pitfalls in using a template or using somebody else's SMS program and just slapping your name on the cover of it?
So as you heard today, you know, it's a lot about making these programs your programs. And as I mentioned, our industry, general aviation industry, is so diverse. So to think that your operation is just like the other guys, and I'm going to do it the same, I think you'll find that that's very challenging. And one of the things that I'll say about starting an SMS, it's very, very important to start it right. If you don't get off the ground correctly in the beginning, and you have challenges and stumble, then people get frustrated, they don't participate, and you're going to make it even worse. So I highly recommend you take the offers here today and in the help in getting your program started correctly.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Jason, what are your thoughts there?
Regarding the templates and utilizing templates to support your safety management system?
Or trying to adopt somebody else's plan, you know, as your own, you know, basically photocopying the manual or whatever it might be.
Yeah, well, since this is a safe space, I'll say I was guilty of it. Having gone on to google.com and Googling SMS manual and downloading a manual, and everywhere it said the other companies, I just copied and pasted and put our companies in there. I've been guilty of that, and I can just say that is not the way to go about it. There's a lot of danger to that, because what you are copying is an organization that developed their manual based on their structure and their people, and in almost to a sense their culture. And when you try to force that into your own organization, you'll see that you're forcing your organization into doing something that's not necessarily appropriate, and that's what we ran into. So templates are good in that they provide a guide, almost like a map. Almost like a general framework, but it's important that you make it yours. And I think that's, you know, and Bob hit it on the head, that when you're starting out, you really got to understand what it is you want to do, what you can do, and then document that so that it's sustainable. Because otherwise it's just going to sit on the shelf and do no good for the organization, which is a good dust collector, but it does nothing for the organization.
No, certainly not. Sonny, what about you? What are your thoughts here?
Really not much more to add on that. The templates are, you know, almost a necessity when you start off. It's like, well, where do I start? You know, you got to have some framework. So templates are out there. It's just that how you do it. And my favorite saying is, you know, what you do is important. How you do it is more important. So yeah, you're gonna embark upon an SMS, but how you do this, take that framework, that template is probably what most people start with. And then line by line say, I don't understand this. I need to reword it. I need to make it mine. And then by the end of all that work, you're done. You have something good.
And to be clear, the programs each of you, the three companies are offering, take that template paradigm a couple steps further. You're really working with the operators to develop those systems to customize it for them, right? Okay, yeah, I see a whole bunch of heads nodding. I do have another, let's go with another group question, start out with from Gabriel Amato, who is one of our routine regular watchers from the Caribbean. And he asked a question, are most of the programs, SMS programs, it doesn't matter where you're located, it can work anywhere, correct? Jason, let's start with you on that one.
So just to understand the question, it doesn't matter where you are geographically. It works wherever you are geographically.
Well, his specific question is, there one program that's more inclined to support international operators? And I believe that all three of the programs support international operators. Is geography ever an issue, I guess?
Yeah,
No, I would have to agree with that. As we see in the status of the regulatory requirements for safety management system around the world, it could differ from country to country. Part 5 is a little bit different than or it's a little more specified, I should say, than the ICAO requirements. I would just ensure that your software, or that it's the safety management system that you implement, meets obviously the regulatory requirements. But if you don't have any requirements, generally the ICAO, ISBAO, those frameworks really do work well and will put you on the right path should it ever become a regulatory requirement.
Okay, Sonny, anything you'd like to add there?
Yeah, it's one of the things I love to talk about that a lot of people don't know about. The Safety Management International Collaboration Group, which consists of FAA representatives, Transport Canada, South America, North America, all over the world. These regulators got together working with ICAO and said, you know, we all agree we should do SMS. We have an Annex 19 to say that it shall happen. These are the standards. But how do we do it? And they developed a set of tools to show us how. This gets back to my how is more important than what. So yeah, what we're doing is SMS. How we do it, we use at Wyvern as a beginning, unless the operator has another way. We use the SMICG tools because it is already identified and accepted by regulatory authorities around the world. And so, you know, we're in the FAA land that we're going through now, you know, and looking at what's coming down the pipe, you know, who knows what they're finally going to settle on as far as accepting an SMS. We do know that they have their SMS VP program that has its own challenges. But I think for the operators on this call, on this webinar, that answers the question, international perspective, that's where we start, the SMICG. But if the operator says, I'd rather use ISBAO, that's fine, use ISBAO. If they say, I'd rather use what the Cayman says or Aruba, fine, use that. So we're flexible, you know, and we can adapt the SMS software to use whatever format you want.
Okay, Bob, anything from air charter safety?
Yeah, I would echo what everyone said. You know, Sonny's point is well taken. You can start anywhere, but you're going to end up in the same place, which is a good, robust system that is improving your operation. And that's what most of these organizations / government agencies are looking for, right? Are you doing something about it? I think when you get into looking at the requirements, a lot of the requirements now are not just do you have one, but it's is it working? Is there evidence of it working? So at the end of the day, it's going to be about where you get to in the end, not really how you start. Sonny's point about, yeah, pick one that you think is best for you, but you're going to end up with a robust product that ultimately is making an impact, and that's what we all want.
Okay. We have a kind of a fun question. The way he phrased it is fun, from Ryan Newman. SMS can be mysterious. I hadn't thought about that phrasing exactly, but I kind of like it. How much of an educational component comes with each of the 3 programs? And so, Sonny, let's start with you on that question.
That's a great question because you know, when you look at component 4 for promoting the SMS, you know, you're looking at training and communication, and you know, and it's not just training, but it's education and training. So, you know, we offer in the SMS module itself, you know, a training module that you can push, load up your video, watch the video. You know, anybody can make a YouTube video these days. You know, somebody in 3rd grade does that. So you make your YouTube video, you throw it on the platform, and then you can build a quiz, and then the quiz can do the auto scoring. So there's a complete education module in our SMS system. If you are really not into that, then you can, you know, go somewhere else for the education outside the system that we could help you with. But I think probably most of the systems out there have some kind of education module, which is an essential component of the SMS.
Okay, Bob, would you like to respond there?
Yeah, I'll be candid with everyone. ACSF is we're a nonprofit foundation. We're a small organization, and our, so we do not have a lot of training data or other things like that, but we certainly will help and mentor you to get there. But yeah, both of the other 2 organizations on this group, you know, definitely will have more support in those areas. Ours is what I classified in the beginning. It's a basic tool to help you start your program. For small operators, I think it'll work great. For large operators that may have some ideas and some other aspects, it's there, but I'll be candid, the other two are going to be better at that than we will.
I appreciate that candor. Thank you for sharing that. And then Jason, thank you for sharing your candor a little bit a while ago about the fact with your SMS templates. How would you, do you have anything you'd like to add about the educational element for Baldwin?
Just echoing what Sonny said, education is incredibly important within safety management, especially when we look at the engagement aspect and people engaging with what they understand rather than what they don't understand. With Baldwin, we do have a full education suite for both frontline and safety managers. And what we focus on is less the academic perspective of safety management and more the practical and pragmatic, how to do the job in the everyday environment.
Okay. We have two questions from Arturo Romero. And both, the first one involves is the ASAP or MSAP program something that's easy to implement? Does it need to be approved by the FAA for each organization? And let's see, I think it's Bob's turn to start this question.
Yeah, well, you teed that one up good. ACSF is currently the largest manager of ASAP programs in the United States. The FAA has over 300 companies that are currently listed. The answer to the question is yes, you have to register with the FAA because it's formal protection for your flight crews. It will ensure that they do not get any kind of retribution or action taken against their license. As long as there's a top 5, you know, alcohol and some various drug abuse things that are outside of that privy. But assuming none of those are in play, you know, nothing's going to happen to your flight crew. So it is a formal agreement that you will sign with your FAA. But ACSF, we manage over 61% of those 300 companies. So we're sitting in on those ERC meetings. We're helping, and all we're doing is we're just there to help. We have no say in what goes on. That is a formal process that the FAA has that requires unanimous decision between the operator and the FAA. Nothing happens until there's unanimous decision. And we're there to help guide you through that process. So it does take a little time to get it going. You have to file the paperwork. We'll, of course, help you with that. And, you know, your FAA has to ultimately sign it and get it back. And then, and there are lots of platforms out there to do that reporting process. You know, Baldwin and Wyvern also have that ability. And many of our operators. So even if you don't use us for SMS, we are there for your ASAP management to help you with those programs. And I think that what we bring to the table there is very strong in that we're sitting in on over 45 ERC meetings a month. So the knowledge that we can bring to your ERC is strong.
Jason, you want to respond for Baldwin?
Yeah, just real briefly, just echoing what Bob said. I mean, ACSF has a well-proven track record of providing ASAP services to organizations and that interface between the FAA and the organization. As he also mentioned, Baldwin does work with ACSF in providing support for ASAP in terms of reporting and workflow. So we're very proud to be a part of that process as well and see that the benefit it brings to the organization.
Okay, and Sonny?
Much of the same what Jason just said. We work with the Air Charter Safety Foundation, likewise, similar ASAP tools to make it easy. I think the question gets back to how difficult is it? You know, I think getting into ASAP might seem difficult, but it's like anything else. Once you know, it doesn't seem difficult. There's information that you just don't know. And once you attend one of the courses from Russ Lawton, and you walk out there going, wow, it's not that difficult. Russ can help me, you know? So, so the Air Charter Safety Foundation makes it easy. And so that's what makes it so nice. And one thing I'd like to add too, the question of Bob, I really appreciate Bob's honesty on that last question, where they said, you know, they don't have that education component built into their system yet. We work with Air Charter Safety Foundation as well. We partner with them. And so if you choose their system, but you're like, gosh, what can I do about education? Wyvern can help you with that at no cost. It's just part of our helping with the Air Charter Safety Foundation. There's ways to do your education that doesn't have to cost you a lot, right? And we can help you with that. We don't want you to feel like that. I want the Air Charter Safety Foundation system, except the education. What is with that? You know, we can show you some tricks of the trade to get you into a proper education system.
Wow, that's really the epitome of the industry, helping the industry become safer. And I'm grateful for you offering that out. So thank you very much. Arturo also had a follow-up question that I think is going to be platform specific for each one of you. He says, right now we have a really intuitive way of submitting hazard reports. Can we input hazard reports manually in some of these programs, or do the reports have to be submitted via the software? And so, Sunny, I think it's your turn to start on this one.
That's an interesting question. I don't know if I've ever heard that one before. Somewhere along the way, somebody has to put that information into the software for the software to work for you. But, you know, the initial, this gets back to safety culture. When you look at safety culture, one of the sub elements of a safety culture is it needs to be a flexible culture. There needs to be more than one way to enter data into an SMS, whether it's SMS software or SMS on a spreadsheet or SMS on a dry erase board. You need to have flexible ways to get that information into the system, whatever it is. So the answer is yes to Arturo. If somebody out there says, I just take a picture of this, that's unsafe, and you send it to an email to somebody, that has to be your company policy to say, when you receive an email like this, you have to send it to the safety manager, and the safety manager will then, you know, type it in or voice it in. You can always voice it in. The beautiful thing about these mobile devices with any of our systems is you just say, hey, I see something unsafe out there, and push go, and it goes into the system. You don't have to type with your thumbs anymore, folks. It's too easy. All right. So just use your tools.
Okay. Let's go backwards this time. Jason, how about you this time?
Much to add to that specifically. I agree with Sunny. The idea is the simplicity of getting the information in. And if you're in a situation or in the context saying, hey, I just want to call and send it in, then as policy dictates, then yes, the safety manager would take that. But it's when you get it into the system that, as was said, the system can work for you. So when it comes to tracking and trending and using that data to make information, it has to end up in the system somehow. But that initial touch point doesn't always necessarily have to be the submitted report via the software.
Okay, and Bob?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, with everybody, they're really saying, yeah, at some point, somebody's got to enter the data. I will say with our system, we have the ability to import spreadsheet data quite easily. I mean, there still has to be some work there to map it out, and I'm sure even the other providers will probably say they can do that too. So I'm not sure what his concept is of, you know, a unique way of doing it, and I'm sure all of us would love to talk to him and understand it. What, as we've kind of pointed out, I think all of us are just here to make a difference, and we love to learn from each other. The more we can learn from each other about way companies operate and do things, the more we can all improve, and that's ultimately what we're talking about doing. So be very interesting to understand how they're currently doing that.
Okay, let's, I think we're running out of time. I'm going to have some housekeeping duties here in just a few minutes, but let's finish up with one final question for each of you. And I'll ask the same question as one we've traditionally used to end our webinars. If there was one thing that you wanted attendees of this webinar to take away today, what would you think that should be? And while you're thinking about it, I'm going to tell people here in just a second, all the attendees, I'm going to have a slide up here next that will tell you how to access the HAI SMS program, as well as the webinar or the web links for each of the companies. So Bob, let's go ahead and start with you. What's the one thing that you think people should take away from the webinar today?
It's more, this has been said, but it's not just about safety. It's an improvement tool that improves not just your company, but the whole industry. You know, the ASAP, we just really, really strongly support ASAP because that data ends up in a national database. So we have seen issues where pilots have filed a whatever, SMS, ASAP, doesn't matter. Tell us what happened out there. And next thing you know, you find out that it was really the ATC system that had a problem, not your organization. It wasn't your fault. So I can't express enough how it's just so much more than just managing safety. It's about improving your operation and improving our industry.
Okay, Jason, your final thought there?
My thought is, don't fear safety management. It is good, and I know that sounds really trite, but it is really a way that's going to make your organization enlightened. We heard the term mysterious, and to take the mystique out of it, it is like Sonny said, just a management system. But even if a management system seems foreign, it is a way, and it's a way that's going to make your organization better. Not boring, not restrictive, but more exciting and vibrant, and taking missions and chances where you thought you may not have known. So it really provides information on what you can do rather than what you can't do. And get a good tool that's going to allow you to implement what you need, and then have people walk alongside you that can guide you and answer questions when needed.
Okay, thanks, Jason. Sonny, you want to wrap it up for all of us?
All right, well, thank you, Dan. And thank you, Bob and Jason. I'd have to say that, I've been in the business aviation industry out of the Air Force for 21 years now. You won't see any smarter guys than the guys I'm talking with. Bob is one of the smartest guys I've ever met with SMS, and I know Jason, and everybody knows Jason around the world is really smart on SMS, taught it in his Vail program with me. And so if you contact either one of us, any of us, we'll get you on the right path to SMS. So feel free, I would say, I'm speaking for all three of us, contact us. But my final thoughts are, we're talking about professionalism here just as much as we are anything. I can't imagine one of the operators out there right now saying, I don't want to be professional. Of course you do. I know you do. And so what does that mean? That means you need to manage risk professionally. And that's what we're talking about. Manage the risk professionally with a system. And the beautiful thing is, these safety management systems are just that. They're management systems. They have 4 parts to them: a promise to do something with objectives. Here's how you do it. Here's how you know it's effective. And here's how you promote it. 4 things. That's all they do. It's that simple. But you should use a system like that so that your team can rally around it and advance and keep going forward smartly. And Bob mentioned at least 2 or 3 times here, it will improve your operational capability. Once you start understanding more about risk management, professional risk management, you can say, maybe we can do that mission. We used to say no, but actually we can under these conditions. And it actually will allow you to do more with your business versus saying no sometimes. Because right now, when people don't understand safety risk management, they go, well, sometimes we have to say no. And then when they say, well, why is that? Well, it's just too dangerous. Why? And that's where the risk management discussion comes in. Let's talk about the risk and manage that risk so that you can say yes sometimes. That's my parting thoughts. Thank you again.
Thank you, Sonny. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Bob, for joining us today. The information you provided has been invaluable. It's been a great introduction to your companies for the HAI operator members who are now thinking about developing an SMS program. That was the purpose of our starting the program, is to make this so open and easy for the operators to pick up. And I think you've really opened a lot of eyes with that. So gentlemen, thank you for contributing your time today. I'll invite you to go ahead and turn your cameras off. I will share the screen here right now so that people can watch, but you're welcome to actually leave and enjoy the rest of your day if you'd like. And there we go. Our SMS program links. First and foremost, rotor.org/SMS-program or hyphen, depending on what you want to call it. That will get you to the HAI page for this program. We have videos, we have details about the individual operator or program partners, and that will be expanding here very shortly. We moved quickly to get this webpage up and running in order for debut at NBAA base. And so we know that we are going to be expanding it very shortly. By the way, please use a screen capture, write these down, use your phone to get these addresses if you need further information. Our rotor.org site also has a great FAQ page section as well. So any of the information you need on SMS programs, we hope you'll start there first. The Air Charter Safety Foundation, acsf.aero, very easy, quick, easy website. Baldwin Aviation, baldwinaviation.com, another great website. And Wyvern has done a very specific website for us. I understand that the other companies will be getting one for us as well. And that will be on the rotor.org page. The Wyverns is wyvernlimited.com/sms-software/again. Give you guys just another minute or second, or a few seconds or so to capture this information, and then I will move on to the next screen to close things out today. Again, I want to offer my deepest appreciation to the Air Charter Safety Foundation and Bob, Baldwin Aviation, Baldwin Safety and Compliance, with Jason and Sunny at Wyvern for joining us today. Okay, to wrap up, next week we have demystifying copter IFR. We have a great presentation on that that really should open a lot of eyes and help you understand how to fly and not fly into IFR conditions. I'm really looking forward to that one. We believe that the October 28th one will be on aerial photography, and we'll be bringing in some of the best magazine photographers, aviation photographers from around the world to talk about what it takes to shoot air to air, and maybe how to prep your photos for the current HAR rotor photo contest as well. Feedback, we would like to, we will be sending you a survey here shortly, might be tomorrow. We would like to get your feedback on what you liked about today's webinar, what you didn't like, what we could do different in the webinar. Equally, we'd always like to know what HAI can do for you. Obviously, you told us that you wanted an SMS program, and so we responded. We do pay attention to your responses. Best way to do that is contact Jim Viola directly at president@rotor.org. He does see every email. He does assign emails to staff for tasking if necessary. Let us know what we can do. Let HAI know what we can do for the operators or for our members. If you're a service provider, we also appreciate that. Individuals, if there's something we can help you with, let us know. We're always looking to try to help. And that does wrap things up for today. We are grateful that you took time out of your schedule to either watch this live or watch the recording. And please visit rotor.org/webinar for more information on this or any other webinars. We have a great archive there. Until next week, we ask that you fly safe, that you be safe, and we will see you next Thursday afternoon.